New Jubilee? Trains versus
is a social experiment
conservative men. Oh my god, I'm so dumb.
Brings humans with opposing beliefs together. These discussions may continue.
Dude. Guys. In my defense, I forgot I was reading a Jubilee title. I was reading a Jubilee title and just visually, just forget it, man. Trans is a conservative man. Is masculinity disappearing in America? Oh my god, dude. Guys. That is like actual content though. Guys, this is actual content.
Are the result of misinformation. Remember to seek out experts and to be critical of your own biases while forming an opinion. Please see the humanity in each participant, and as always, we encourage empathy.
Yeah, it's good. It's into the topics.
When you say we're just redefining what being a man is, you have to understand you're redefining a fabric in society that has kept the human race and got it to where it is today.
But do you see the state of our world today? It's not perfect, and it's been led by men like throughout all of history, and look where it's gone.
Jesus.
Masculinity.
Step
forward
XQCOW.
if you agree with the prompt. Masculinity is disappearing in America.
I think that masculinity is disappearing. I think that it's a concerted effort to emasculate men. I think that some people feel threatened by masculinity and the typical way that men carry themselves, leading families and different things like that. So I think that there's an effort to mitigate strong men in America.
There's a few different ways to think about masculinity. But just
Strong men?
At kind of the definition of the term 50 years ago, you had people like John Wayne. You had
No, guys. I don't think it matters. I feel like if you care about masculinity, right, and if it's an important part of you, right, then you're allowed to. But I don't think we should give a fuck.
Luther King. You had
But the
Sean Connery.
state of
you
masculinity.
think of, like,
Oh
masculine
no,
features
the
as in
state of masculinity,
beard,
guys.
square
Watch
chest,
out!
big
Like,
muscles,
oh
being
my
stoic,
god.
being brave, being rugged, being a provider. Today you have people like Harry Styles and Timothy Chalamet. You have people that are completely contrary to what we were looking at back then, and those values of those masculine characteristics are completely devalued.
I do believe that
They're
masculinity
devalued?
is going downhill, especially if you look at like the testosterone levels. Now the testosterone levels for guys is going down compared to generations before us. So yeah, I agree. Hi, I'm Gilbert. I'm 24 years old and I'm a conservative man. With my beliefs and having a trans man as my friend, we don't really talk about politics. Someone being trans doesn't make me like them any less of a person. As far as pronouns, when referring to my friend, I don't really use the pronouns that my friend would want. I just say my friend or I say their name, just because I feel like I'm giving into the narrative that men can be women and women can be men if I use the pronouns that they want.
Huh? What is wrong with this guy?
I do see that masculinity is under attack completely, but my definition of masculinity, like you said, has a lot to do with the traits that are associated with it. As a gay man, I mean, of all of us, I'm not the most masculine.
I mean, how is it about a narrative though, dude? It's just respect though. If you know the person, right, and your friend, and they asked of something, dude, it's not that big of a deal now, is it?
The good aspects of
It's not
masculinity
that big
are
of a deal, is
definitely
it?
under attack, but I don't think that it's disappearing. It's just being channeled in different ways.
It depends on how you look at it, because a lot of the traits can also be embodied in women and femininity. So when we look at masculinity, I think that we have to also look at what is the actual definition of femininity and masculinity. And if we're defining masculinity by being stoic or muscles or body parts, then is it really masculinity?
A lot of times when you guys spoke about masculinity, you associate it with men being manly, but I think more women are embracing their masculinity. Masculinity is still there. I mean, just other genders are using it. Being courageous, being powerful, more women are standing in their power, which is again associated with masculine, but it's not specific to just men. Women are no longer submissive, they're dominant. Women don't need men, and I think that most of America is realizing that anyone can be powerful on their own.
I believe that the masculine traits are inherently in men, and men have to take a position. You made a really good point by saying women are now becoming more masculine. They feel as if they don't need men, which I think is the problem here. I think that The way we've been designed by God, in my opinion, is that men are to lead, men are to be strong, men are to be brave. Men have to take their rightful position. The way our country has been structured to this point have been because of strong men who have taken a stand, who have fought wars. Now I feel like it's getting so lopsided that our families are degrading. People don't know where they're at in this country.
Now in 2022, masculinity is being redefined.
This guy again.
I think what happens is people get upset when things start to change. No, I think that nobody ever wants to take that away from men. I think that what we want to do in the world now is start to understand what is masculinity, and it's always been really associated with this very machismo space. And now there's different kinds of men in the world. There's not just biological men. There's also trans men or people who want to be masculine. So I think what's happening now is people are pushing against change because change is scary and people don't understand. And so I think men, biological men, feel under attack when I think that's not what's happening here.
The point that you made is 100% correct. There are different phases and people are experiencing in different ways. The feminist movement is, I think they are attacking masculinity within men. I don't want a man to open the door for me. I don't need a man in my life. I can do all of these different things. What they're doing is attacking men, and that's what's causing.
But I open the door to everybody though, because I feel like it's not only for women. I open the door for everybody. I don't know.
What part of the feminist group feels like
I'll say, oh, it's a woman.
I know that most
I don't open the door. Or it's a man. Psh, you can open your own door. What? No.
Feminism is like wanting equal pay.
If I open the door, open the door.
Well, you just said that women not needing men is somehow empowering. You know, having a man is somehow less empowering or being an individual.
I open the door for everybody. If I open your door and you look at me like I'm weird, you know what? It does not fade me. It doesn't. This shit never gets to me. Wanna know why? Because you're weird.
I'm
not weird.
That's how women feel. Right. Women actually are saying that because that's how they feel. It's
but that's not how every woman feels.
But no one's saying every woman. They're only women speak for themselves. So all of you are going to have different opinions as biological men.
Absolutely.
Women all have different opinions. Oh, you see a very specific group of women saying this.
I mean, you did just say that's how women feel. So are you speaking on behalf of all
women?
No.
No, I'm not. Let me take that back. The women who are saying that feel that way.
Why do you feel that women in general feel disempowered?
I don't think in general. No. That's a generalized statement. You can't say that. I said
you're the
women. No, I did not. I said the women who say that.
You associated somehow women are now embracing masculinity, which means that they are now more empowered because they don't need a man.
Right. Men feel empowered when women need them.
But I don't think that women's empowerment comes from having a man or not having a man. So why is it always associated that a woman's now empowered because she doesn't need a man? A woman has always been empowered. Women have never been.
But they've never felt that.
That's not true.
I mean, if we go back to the 1920s, if you're going to do that, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about society right now.
Right now, you actually think women are empowered right now?
Absolutely, women are empowered.
He's the vice president.
And how long did it take for her to become a vice president, though?
There is a right and wrong way to be a man.
No.
Take a second to think about it.
Dog shit prompts and dude, motherfucker, dude, come on.
I think that when I originally heard the question being asked, I didn't agree with it, but men are not abusive individuals. Right. Men are not to be cowards. Right. Men are to lead their families. And men who do not display that, I don't believe that they are men, in my opinion. And all of the qualities that I see in my father is what I believe a man should be.
All of those characteristics are what make a man. And when I see a man be a coward in the truth, in just speaking the truth, or sticking up for what's right, especially today in America with everything going on, I'm like, those are not men. My name is Clarkson. I'm 24 years old, and I'm a conservative man. My biggest question for the other side really is, are you happy? Anybody that wants to fundamentally change society and change gender roles, to me that's not happiness. And if we want to fight for acceptance, we need to start with acceptance, which is accepting society for what it is.
What? Wait,
at the end of the day,
guys, that's a contradictory statement though. That literally makes no sense.
We're all men, and I don't believe there's any wrong way to be a man.
No,
we're just
contradictory.
redefining what it means to be a man.
But there are things that naturally come to men. So when you say we're just redefining what being a man is, you have to understand you're redefining a fabric in society.
The man says it's about acceptance. Okay, yeah, it makes sense. Acceptance, the society is the way it is.
What? That has kept the human race and got it to where it is today. So just like aimlessly throwing out, oh, well, we're just redefining what it is to be a man. That's not just like a light subject that we should be talking about.
But why do you think they have to stay the same? Why do we need to have the same thing for hundreds and hundreds of years?
Do you not see the state
It's not the same thing. It's just it's
said.
keeping the same qualities.
But do you see the state of our world today? It's not perfect. It's been led by men like throughout all of history, and look where it's gone.
So, we're talking about redesigning what it means to be a man. So, what do you want to bring to traditional men?
I think it's embracing that you can be vulnerable. I think that a lot of men want to portray strength, but men are people, and I know that men have feelings.
Being a man and masculinity, those are two different things. And I believe that we can redefine whatever that means to anybody by including other types of men or other types of masculinity. I myself am a father, I have a child. Some people would disagree with me being a father because I am transgender. But that being said, I present to the world as a male, my child sees me as a man.
As I respect this person, I think that whenever they talk, they bring a point that doesn't have a point, right? And there's
proper ways to be
no
vulnerable,
follow-up,
right? You don't have to break down in front of your family and cry. It's okay to suffer silence as well. Strong men, I believe, exude the qualities that you guys are referring to. I think the problem is overcorrection, right? Some people believe that men need to cry and lay on the ground and be feminine like women. My name is Brandon. I'm 34 years old, and I'm a conservative man. I had a lot of curiosities about what it's like to be a person who believes that they're a trans man. I feel like God has created all of us very uniquely. And although I have beliefs and I follow the Bible to the T, I still want to know from other people what their experiences are. Doesn't mean I have to agree, but I really want to know what other people are feeling from the person who's experiencing it real time.
I have male privilege.
Oh, sit over here.
I've lived both lives, and I can tell you firsthand that it does exist. I am taken much more seriously in my career since I've transitioned as a man. Prior to transitioning, I would work just as hard, if not harder, for the same position and not be considered. The minute that I transition, I am immediately taken more seriously. I can give you an example. Obviously with COVID, there's like the mask mandate, right? So I have to tell customers all the time, it needs to be above your nose, right? I do that all day. My manager who's above me, who is a woman, will have to go to them, tell them they give her a fight. But the minute I just look in their direction, it's up. It doesn't seem like a privilege, but it is because now my manager has to work 3 times harder for something that's so simple.
I think the word privilege is the thing that turns a lot of people off with this conversation. But that being said, again, myself living my life as a female, pretty much half my life, and then now.
Guys, that's really tough. Because I don't want to be weird about this, chat, but dude, guys, you make a point, okay? But how about you turn this thing up a notch? You go to a bar, right? And you're fighting somebody, and the bouncer is let's say a smaller short woman, right? Are you going to treat the situation the same and analyze it the same as if there's a fucking 6'7" giga chad male coming up? Well, no.
Half my life as a man. There is no way I could not be honest about the fact that my life has changed drastically. Also being a white man, that's also a conversation a lot of people don't want to have. But I have privilege of being white and privilege also of being a man now. I can walk into any room and command that room in a heartbeat because people just do that with men. And I think the thing is that biological men are born into that space, so they'll never ever see it. Why do we now as women who have become men get to have this thing? It's 100% because we are men. We look like men. Nobody would ever know. No one would ever know that we used to be women. So it's actually a real lived experience.
Guys, I'd say, guys, there are traits that people have, guys, that are intimidating. That's it. Maybe you could call it privilege. I understand. You could call it not privilege. I have no take on this. But dude, we need to understand that biologically, there are traits that look intimidating. And you are more prone to respond and sort of, comply. That's just how it is. That's like the basis of fucking nature, man. All the creatures with the reason why they look a certain way, right? Is that exactly? I'm done talking about this.
I agree with a lot of what you all are saying as far as like transitioning, but as a black man, privilege looks way different for me, because if I'm walking down the street, then I'm seen as a threat by police, by women, by anybody else. Being seen as a man is where my privilege stops and where everything else begins. So I don't see it as privilege.
Okay, I got a lot to say about this topic here. First of all, I mean, we have to be transparent and honest with each other. You know, I think that not everybody on this side.
Mother smoking them out. I think this is. So far as this is a decent video, okay? Okay, I'm watching it. If I get bored, I'll leave it, okay? Chill out.
Presents 100% like a man. Like if I saw you in the streets, I wouldn't think you were a man. You know, men have it really hard in this world, and they've always had it hard in this world. The wars have been fought by men. They've died in the hundreds of thousands. Men commit suicide more. Men work more the dangerous jobs. You know, if somebody broke in this place right now, who are they going to expect to defend everybody in here is going to be the men. If your family fails, they're not looking at your wife. They're not. They're looking at the man. You know, I just want people to understand that there's some advantages that men have, and then also men do struggle in custody and all kinds of different things.
100%. I 100% agree with you as a man now, right? But what I think my perception of it is different than yours, because you were born male, you were raised male, you have a whole other space in that, and I totally respect your opinion on that, and I believe that that is a true lived experience as a born man.
Yeah, and let me add with the black man, because we have a total different reality in that. I don't, in no way, form, or fashion do I go into a room and I feel like I'm less than. I think I command presence when I go into a room because the way I'm dressed, and I'm tall. I go in the streets, I've never had a person cross the street. I've never been attacked by a police officer. I was a police officer.
He's tall, he's big, he's got a beard.
I've been pulled over probably 3 times
he's got
in my
muscles.
entire life.
I mean, my biggest question with this and why I don't necessarily agree with it is because when it comes to privilege, there's not really a way to quantify it. It's very subjective. So like your version of male privilege and your version of male privilege are very different.
So it's hard to see the other side because you've never lived it. Yeah. The difference between you and us is we see it because we've lived it. You have not. So it's easy to speak and be like, well, it doesn't exist. But well, how would you know?
Well, I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I think everybody has certain privileges, but what I think the question here is what defines male privilege over women? Because women have privileges too. Right. So is there a graph that you guys are calculating to make men have more than women, or what?
The privilege is not acknowledging what you have that comes so easy.
So do you think that your fear, because you live both sides, do you think your fear is something that you have in your mind, or you think it's a reality? Because no, let me say this: you never really changed as a person. You're the same person that you were. So you have the same physical capabilities that you did when you were a woman.
No.
You don't.
No, my strength is entirely different after
what percentage would you say?
More than 100%.
Okay,
I weighed
so,
like 100 pounds. Now I weigh like 133.
You're still not probably as strong as me.
But it's not about strength. It's that women are targeted. Men are not targeted. I mean, maybe sometimes. I'm not saying it's never going to happen.
They're targeted by other men.
Right. But women are targeted by other men. I think women have less of a safe space. That's
I disagree. Men don't have a safe space. If you go to certain
but I'm talking
cities,
about
they get murdered by other men.
Okay, but I'm not talking about certain cities. I'm talking about everyday life.
Yeah, every day.
I think
that's a blanket
statement.
Have you been attacked as a woman?
I have been. I've been raped. I've been attacked. I can go on and on and on. I was homeless, living in the streets, raped all the time. It happens. It's a real thing. I didn't see the guys on the street getting raped, but
men do get raped.
100%. But the experience of
do you get catcalled down the street? Like,
I mean, women say things to me. When I was a police officer,
do you feel threatened? You feel empowered though, right?
No, I don't feel empowered. I feel that's disgusting.
But do you feel scared? Do you feel threatened when a woman catcalls you?
No, I don't. I don't feel.
Okay, yeah. Chad's making it weird all of a sudden. Okay,
chill. I feel threatened if a man try to challenge.
Because you have that no privilege.
Right, as a woman.
What if a man was whistling at you when you were walking down the street?
I've had it happen to me. I had gay
this one is 0 for 100.
men whistle to me, but
how does that make you feel?
I don't care.
Okay, cool.
I mean, as long as you don't touch me, we cool.
Right.
I know you may think I'm attractive. That's fine. It's cool. I get it.
I think women will say the same thing as long as you're not like trying to be predatory. And I've seen it because I go to clubs with my friends who are girls, and I have to tell the men to literally leave them alone because they keep going and they're predatory and they're literally scouting out for women that are drunk or whatever, not even drunk. She could say no 1,000 times and they're still gonna bother her. But the minute that I say something, they stop.
Women are not as strong as men and they get targeted. Sure, yes, that is a privilege that men have over women, but that doesn't mean that men have privilege because of that one situation. Men commit suicide way more than women do.
Because if we're gonna go that route, trans men commit suicide twice the rate.
But that's not
I think what's important here is to distinguish the fact that yes, no one is negating the fact that women can get preyed on. You know, there's situations where this happens, right? Like no one's going to deny that. But we're also just trying to say that
guys, sometimes everybody's wrong, but
it's not like a one-sided coin here, where there's no like men are just, you know, we just have it good and we can do whatever we want.
I do not believe that's true.
We can't even be the next Supreme Court justice because you know, it's like.
But you know, again, I live as a man, so I see the difference now.
Yeah.
When I said I have
What is oppression Olympics? What is that?
privilege and I walk into a room, of course, but then there's other things that are expected of me now as a man that I would never knew were expected of me.
So would you guys agree that that there's such thing as female privilege?
Oh, sure, 100%.
My wife has privilege because she has me.
That's right.
So she don't have to worry about her
Right
safety
on.
because I'm there.
I don't believe that as a man, it's like, you know, there's marketing for women-owned brands. I can't be the next Supreme Court justice. Like, women are very much more empowered today, which I think is, I don't have no problem with it. I mean, like, good for you. But I think that the man I probably have privilege because I'm, you know, 6 foot 210. Like, no one's picking on me when I walk down the street. You know, I used to live in Chicago and I used to walk home all the time at night. But like, was that smart? Probably not. But I felt a little safe because, you know, I'm not 5 foot 100 pounds. I'm Max. I'm 29 and I'm a conservative man. In today's society, women and men can be whatever they want and be as successful or as strong or
6 foot 2,
as
210.
big of a leader.
I'm
as they
6 foot 2,
choose.
100.
So I'm
139.
just wondering, in a society that is so seemingly more level than ever before, why are we transitioning to different genders to find, and what are we looking for?
Biology determines gender.
So, sex and gender, people try to argue that they're different, but sex and gender actually go hand to hand. And our biology, being a man, comes down to every fiber within our body. So whether that be DNA, chromosomes, testosterone levels, bone density, there's a whole bunch of different factors that go into it, and it all has to do with biology.
So biology, I 100% believe in biology. Today we talk about biology being a social construct. I disagree with that as a transgender person. I was born biologically female. I always acknowledge that, and today I live as a male. Now that being said, sex and gender, they are trying to separate those things. Gender can be, I've chosen my gender. As you see, nobody would, I think, probably understand that I used to be a female. Now many people do, like you just said, believe that sex and gender are one thing and you can never change those. I'm not trying to change anything. I'm trying to show the world that this is how I feel by presenting the outside. But I think denying biology is where we get into a lot of problems.
If you want to be, you know, seen as a man, then like, who are you to? I don't care. I mean, you do you, whatever makes you happy. But I think like it becomes a slippery slope. It's like, how are we going to deny basic human facts? Like, there's two genders.
I think that causes problems, and it causes problems for me.
Yeah.
Because the minute I start denying your biology, now you feel attacked by me. Right. And I don't want you to feel attacked by me. I never want you to feel, I want to be a part of, if that makes sense. You don't have to agree with my choice of how I live my life, but all I ask for is respect.
What do you have on your driver license and your birth certificate?
Right,
Did you change it to male or did you change it to?
So that being said, I transitioned to live as a man 29 years ago.
No,
so that was way before you see any of this stuff. And I had to acknowledge my biology, right? That being said, my license, I travel the world. It has to say male. Can you imagine if I showed up?
Okay, guys, I'm done with this, guys. Guys, this is gonna go in circles, chat. I'm done. Guys, I'm
the airport, they're like, female? Dude, there's something going on here. But I actually got my birth certificate changed to.
Okay, chat, guys, I'm done with it. Guys, it's a good video, chat. Guys, it's just you know.